僕かな。違う。そうなんです。ありがとうございます。僕とファンはいますかね。ありがとうございます。今日は
This is GENTEN.
原点ですね。原点。What is
GENTEN?
What is GENTEN?
Yes.
You know that?
No, I don't know. I think half of you maybe don't know, right? Who here is the first time coming today?
Oh.
Wow, that's a lot. Oh, wow, you can hear me now. Hello, hello. Okay, there we go. So, half of you, 半分は今日初めて. First time today, right? Okay. So, can you what is exactly GENTEN?
原点っていうのはこう何かに挑戦しようと思った時に心にあるこう big desire or big hope こうを私たちは原点って呼んでます。
Big hope that everybody has.
そう。
Okay.
Like 私がこうカナダに来ようって決めた時に思ってたようなこと、それを原点。
The reason why we decided to come to Canada. That's what we wanted to find out, right?
そう。でももう一つ意味があります。
Oh, one more. What is that?
それは今その大きなこう希望とか、こう
希望ね。
頑張ろうと思った気持ちが今も同じかなって、今何を思ってるかなっていうことを私たちはもう一つ原点って呼んでるんです。
So what you're trying to achieve, what your motivations are, that's what we're trying to find out.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well that sounds really interesting then.
そうで今日はぜひ皆さんの来ようって決めた時に思った気持ちとか、何かに挑戦しようって思った時に思ってた気持ちをもう一度考えてほしいな。
So we want you to find out the reason why you decided to come to Canada, why you decided to come leave Japan. Find out that main reason, get in touch with yourself again. Is that what we're trying to find out today?
Yes.
Wonderful. I hope you're all looking forward to it.
そうでこう明日からのエネルギーをぜひ今日何か一つ掴んで帰ってもらいたいなと思ってます。よろしくお願いします。
So hopefully you get to shine and find something deep inside of you for tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, so enough about us. Who are our main guests today?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Today's guests are Yuki Nakamura and
Okay.
Adam Waxman.
Wow!
Yes.
Let's welcome them. If they're here, right?
Yes, of course.
They're not here.
I know maybe they late a little bit. No?
皆さんちゃんと時間通りに来てくれたのにね。Everybody got here on time. Where are my guests? Is Yuki here? But maybe?
Maybe. I hope so.
I hope so.
So first,
Yes.
we introduce her video.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Yes, yes.
Okay, why don't we show the video first? Please enjoy.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! はい、今日はクリスマスイブということでね、私たちは今クリスマスのイベントで大変にぎわっているカサロマに来ています。皆さんはマジックを信じますか？私はこの目と耳で確かめました。はい、カナダの皆さん、こんにちは。今ね、私はどこにいると思いますか？なんとね、日本の南、鹿児島なんです。そしていよいよ私たちは噂に聞いていた砂節風呂に挑戦。
気持ちいいです、意外に。
盛りだくさんの3日間をエンジョイした私はまた鹿児島を訪れることを決意しました。人々の優しさと桜島の雄大さを感じながら中村ゆきの鹿児島への旅を締めくくらせていただきます。
Yes.
That was a wonderful introduction video. Yuki Nakamura,
Yes.
very talented reporter
She is.
and producer.
Yes.
Yes. Well, let's hope that she's here now.
Yes.
Yes. Is Yuki Nakamura here? Hi, Yuki-san.
ありがとう。Wow, Mark, so many people here today.
Yes,
in this
there
frigid
is.
cold weather.
Look at all these
Yes.
people. Mhm.
Wow, so impressive.
So, yeah,
We have to talk about a little bit about us, right?
Yes, 実は初対面じゃないんですよね。It's not the first time we've seen each other
Yeah,
today.
he was only 11 years old.
Yep.
Little
Only
boy,
this.
11歳. So we've been together a
Yes,
long time, right?
very long
Yeah.
time. You know, boyfriend, girlfriend kind
Yes.
of thing. You know, it's
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Cute couple, huh?
Stop! What light yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is but sick and pale with grief. Now, I'm trying to understand, Mom.
Are you home to stay now?
アダムさんですね。アダムさん、さすが。皆さん、演技力、actor. That's why. No. アダムさん、this is not. We're not doing a theater today. 今日は舞台じゃないんです。It's GENTEN.
Oh, this is
GENTEN.
GENTEN.
It's a talk
I
show.
thought this was Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Good night.
No. We need you here. Don't leave. Everybody's here for you and Yuki.
Okay, now I'm nervous.
Okay.
You made me feel warm, Adam. That was very passionate.
Thank you.
Beautiful couple. Nice. No. Why don't we introduce you with the clip that we have?
Sure.
For you? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why. I mean to change. I'm trying to understand, Mom.
Are you home to stay now?
I don't know. I want to look around, see what's doing.
Can't look around all your life, Biff.
Mom, I just can't take hold. I can't take hold of some kind of a life.
Screw it then, but cover yourself.
I don't care what you think. They laughed at Dad for years. And you know why? Because we don't belong in this nuthouse of a city. We ought to be out mixing cement on some open plain or carpenters. Carpenters are allowed to whistle.
And who in the business world thinks I'm crazy?
Never mind. Don't make a whole thing out of it, will ya?
Go back to the West, be a carpenter, a cowboy, enjoy yourself.
Willie, he was just saying.
I heard what he said. I think your troubles are finally over. But remember, start big and you'll end big. Ask for $15,000. Huh? How much you gonna ask for? Personality always wins the day. Will you let me talk?
Don't yell at her, Pop, will ya?
I was talking, wasn't I?
I don't want you yelling at her, and I'm telling you that's all.
What are you taking over this house now?
Willie!
Stop taking his side on it!
Stop yelling at her!
Wow.
Wow. You are good actor. You take this.
Okay.
You take this one.
Is it okay if I sit here?
Yo, go ahead, please be my guest. So, another round of applause for we have our guests Yuki Nakamura and Adam Waxman for tonight. Adam, you had some nice body back then, or I shouldn't say back then. I'm sorry, you still have a good body, but
Then I had more here, and now I have more here.
what happened?
You know what? At that time I was acting, and now I'm eating.
That's good. And Yuki-san.
Hi.
Yes, we go long back, right?
You look just as great as ever.
Oh, I love you, Adam. Thank you.
So, okay. First of all, before getting started with our special guests, I want you individually to know each other. Because, I know we're all kind of, not usually shy, but we tend to be shy when we're out in these kind of events, right? ちょっと恥ずかしいかもしれないですね。だから、隣の人とちょっと挨拶。Introduce one of each other to the person who you're sitting beside. Say hello, what's your name? 何年ぐらいいるの？こんにちは。始めましょうか。Just, who know? You're sitting beside each other.
Hey, what's your blood type?
こんにちは、どうですか？こんにちは。お名前は元気ですか？There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is great. I'm loving this. You guys are all enjoying each other, right? Okay, now you're just ignoring me while I talk and blabber, and yeah, it's okay. You guys just continue on with yourselves. どうですか、皆さん。楽しんでますか？楽しんでますか？隣の人十分わかりましたか？ Did you get to introduce each other? Get to know their names, how old they are, if they're single or not, married or not, you know, can we go on a date? No, okay. But looks like you guys were having fun. A lot of fun, you know. We need you to be able to speak to us today. 皆さんにも意見とか質問とかあればどんどん聞いてもらいたいです。もちろんいいですよ。It's okay.
日本語でもいいですよ。
Oh, see? 日本語喋れる。
全然わからへん。
関西弁が出ました。Whoa, that's great.
I don't know what came over me.
Yeah. So you know, this is the kind of atmosphere we want for tonight. So that's why if you don't know what we're talking about, 話してる途中ちょっとわからない、英語が早すぎる、手を挙げてください。Raise your hand if you don't understand what we're talking about. If I'm talking
足上げてもいい。
Yeah. Raise your hand, whatever, you know. Okay, so let's get started then. So, first of all, what are your mottos? You know, you must have a motto for today or for your entire, experience. Yes.
For my life. My motto is find your passion.
Ah, very
Find
nice.
your passion.
わかりますか？ Find your passion です。
英語で言っただけ。日本語で言っただけ。
パッションを探すね。
ね、
はい、
情熱を探しましょう。
ゆきさん。
私はね、有言実行。ね、日本人の方はわかると思うんですけれども、English speaking people, if you say, I lose 10 pounds, you lose it. I mean, do something to lose 10 pounds. Like, get on a good diet or do exercises, whatever you do and lose 10 pounds. That's 有言実行. This is a theme for today, for me.
No, just like the Nike.
Either way,
just do it.
Do it.
Just
do it. Or I don't sleep in. I don't oversleep. Sleep. You know, and then you won't. So you say and you do it.
Okay, wonderful. So I think everybody here would like to know a little bit more about your experiences. What are you? What do you do? Why are you here today?
What do you do?
I am an actor, and I also publish a magazine called DINE, in which I write about food, wine, and lifestyle. So I write about the things that interest me. And I publish that with my mother. We work together. And that magazine comes out once a year. But this year, we're working on a second one. So we'll have 2 a year. It's our family business. And
2回、2つ出すんですね。
Yeah. And it's good because acting doesn't always pay the bills. And I never wanted to be a starving artist. So I write about
俳優
food.
だけじゃ難しい。食っていけない。
Yes.
Me? I'm like several different ones, but I worked for Omni TV for 17 and a half years. 17年半オムニテレビで働きました。で今はメディアコーディネーター、NHK とか朝日とか富士とか日テレとかリクエストが来たらそれをアレンジメントしてシューティング撮影とかに、しています。あといろいろね先生もしますし teaching or whatever people need me. I do driving whatever.
忙しいですね、いろいろと。いろんな顔を持たれてるんです。
そうです。
Yes. Both. 2人ともいろんな顔を持ってます。Many different faces they all have, right? So, why don't we start off with what brought you, maybe Yuki-san first.
Canada.
What brought you to Canada?
Right, it's a long time ago, 1989. I don't want to say my age, but working holiday visa. And I was one of those, the oldest, I mean, maybe the first married couple. 結婚してた人では初めてでって言われました。本当にカナダに行くのかって、職を捨てて行くのかって言われて、行きますって言って来ました。それは24 years and a half years ago. 24年半前ですね。 1年のつもりが24年半になってしまいました。
すごいですね。Time flies so quickly. アダムさん。
My parents conceived me.
いや、母親が産んでくれましたと言ってくれましたけど、当たり前ですね、それは。みんなそうですもんね。No, no, no, no. What, for you, you went to Japan,
Yes.
right? From what I understand. What brought you to Japan?
I was restless, and I wanted to travel. I wanted to experience the world. I got a job with the JET program.
お、ジェットで
Yes.
来れたんですね。ジェットまたそちらなんですね。
And actually, our first, our like orientation session was in this room. So from there, I went to Kyoto, and I fell in love with it. I just loved it so much that I stayed for 2 years, and then I was in a language program, and then I worked for another year at another company, and I had no idea how much of an impact it would have on my life, but it's kept me going back again and again.
京都に2年
What's
間。
the real purpose? Ask him. To go to Japan.
本当の理由はな、今のは結構ね、みんなかっこいいな、すごいなと思ったかもしれないけど。
The real
What was your real purpose?
To go
What
to
are you
Japan.
getting at?
Huh? You know, we all have our purposes as well. You know what I'm talking
No,
about.
Well, I wanted to meet girls too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, but I went to Japan. It's funny because I was interested in China. I thought China is a huge country. Japan is a small country. So I thought I'll be in Japan just a little while. But as anyone who's ever spent time in Japan can tell you, it's huge. Whether you're in downtown Tokyo or out in the country, there's so much to experience in Japan that I ended up not going to China and not being interested because I just loved where I was. And my attitude when I arrived was quickly changed because after just a few months, I wasn't interested in anything except my students and where I was because I just loved it. I loved being with them and I learned from them more than I taught them.
本当に好きだったんですね、日本が。
Yeah.
2年間京都に。
Kyoto, yes.
京都で。後ろのこの写真は京都で。Is this a picture of you in Kyoto?
Yes.
What are you doing here?
I don't know.
Good answer.
It was we had a matsuri in the summer, and this is outside of my the radio station, FM Ikaru. And so I went outside. I saw my students there, and we were posing for a picture. And for me now, I'm looking at that and remembering my hair.
髪の毛。アダムさんどれ
Which one am I?
Who are you?
I'm the one in the middle.
Oh yeah, there you are. There you are. The handsome one.
Yeah.
So tell us about the radio
Okay,
station,
so,
how you get the position.
Well, a radio station opened up in this little town where I lived called Ayabe, and I just thought maybe I could do something there. So I don't know why I thought of this, but I wrote a marketing plan for the radio station, and I brought it to them, and I said, here's 10 different things you can do, and I'd like to do it, you know.
そう、ラジオ局に提案したんですね。こういうことをやってみたらどうですかっていう新たなマーケティングプランを訪ねて持っていったんですね。紹介したんですね。
And they said, this is great, but we have no money, so we can't do any of it. And they said, but would you like to have a radio show? And I said, of course. And they said, well, we can't pay you, but if you want to do it, you can do it. So I had my radio show where it was a 1-point English, and I got my students to listen to it, and then I would test them the next day.
自分のラジオ番組をもらえたんですね。すごい。そして1 point English.
Yes.
英語を
So
教えて
I
た。
would say something in English, and the other DJ would repeat it in Japanese, and we had our little radio show.
じゃあこんな感じですね。アダムさん
Yes,
日本語で
just like this.
英語で喋って。
Yes.
I speak Japanese. You
Yes,
speak
you do.
English.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Like that. Like that. So there would be a word of the day. And it was a lot of fun. And that was one way that I could get involved in the community.
Great. Yuki さん。
はい。
What about you? What got you involved in this in the community here in
来た時は何もないわけですよ。親戚も友達も誰もいない。I knew anybody, right? Only us, right? So I called. I read Toronto Star, and 食の欄があるでしょ。デイケアセンターのところにバーってエデュケーションのところにデイケアセンター全部書いてある。それに片っ端から全部出ました。the daycare center. I called every day. And the first time, no, we don't need any new people. And then I didn't give up. Second time, I called again. And third time, I called again. And then those daycare center, I don't need anybody. いりませんって言ったところが、一人空きができました。来てくださいって言われました。
すごいチャンス。
Yeah. So, just called. Doesn't matter if I got no answer first. I kept second time and then third time. And finally I got interview, 3 interviews.
すごい。じゃあ諦めずに You kept on trying and trying and trying, never gave up.
Never gave up.
I hope everybody here is also trying their best as well. Right?
Fight.
Look.
あ、
Somebody's raising.
Yes. なんかわからなかった
How was your English when you came?
Oh, pretty bad. My English was very, very poor, right? Because everybody's so quickly, right? And it's so terrifying, so scary, right? But I think I got the talent of dealing with kids, right? I chose daycare center because I know I'm good with kids. I love kids. So my English was way down, very, very low comparing to other people who came for the interview. 5 people came on the same day when we went to Ensoku school trip with kids. And then I was competing with 4 different Canadians, very fluent in English. And then I was the very bottom one, right? So I cannot win over them if I speak my, poor English. So I spent a lot of time with kids, enjoyed, they loved me, so I think they chose me. Kids chose me. So among 5, I was chosen. Sorry, Adam, you can cut in any time.
How did you have the courage to apply for a job when you didn't speak English?
Oh my God, 心臓バクバク生きてる心地しませんでしたっていうのが正直なところですね。I was very nervous. And I tried to pretend that I understand, but sometimes I don't, right? People speak so quickly. I don't catch it. So I stopped pretending, right? And then, do you mind repeating it for me? I started saying it.
確認を取るように。
Yeah, I stopped pretending that I understand and not getting it, right? So I was honest.
You had another skill other than English. Was how you were tender and caring with the kids.
Yes, I love them. I just adore every single one.
It was the opposite with me. When my students were bad, I beat them down.
はい、暴力反対。
Abuse, ダメ。
でも、this is great because you used what you have naturally to your full advantage, right? だから皆さんがもう最初から持っている特技、それを活かせることができた。アダムさんは英語を喋れるから、それを日本で活かせることができたラジオ番組で。ユキさんは、子供との扱い、子供が大好きだから、そのパッションを今度仕事に変えることができた。はいはい。Yes. Oh, that's a good question. 日本語で Can you explain in Japanese?
I think it was in Ego Day.
英語で。
No, I think it was in English because I did not speak Japanese at the time.
Can they speak English?
Not really. The one person, the other DJ, she spoke some English.
So you pretty much have a conversation with that DJ.
Yes.
Oh.
But it's similar to what you were saying. In my acting, the first show that I did was Romeo and Juliet, and on opening night, I was very nervous because it was a big production and it was my debut, so it meant everything to me. And at a certain point in the show, when I'm Romeo and there's Juliet on the balcony, I froze. I could not remember any of my lines.
ロミオとジュリエットやってる時に お客さん観客すごいいっぱいいるのにもうパッてセリフが忘れちゃったみたいなんですね。
And I think the whole time I was thinking, how am I going to do this really well? And how am I going to do this better than anybody else who's ever played Romeo?
どういうふうにすれば自分は今までロミオを演じてきた人よりもっと素晴らしいものをできるかと。
And so I put so much pressure on myself that I couldn't even do it. And what I realized in that moment was that what I could offer the role was me. Everybody who if we all played Romeo, we would all play it different because we all have something different to offer. So
みんなでロミオをやったら多分それぞれ違うロミオが出てくると思う。自分のロミオを今回はそのセリフが忘れた時に自分のロミオを出してみようと真剣に考えたそうですね、数秒の中で。
So in that moment, everyone in the audience was looking at me, and Juliet up there was looking at me, and I just looked into the audience, and I saw my best friend and his girlfriend, they're Japanese, and I just said, なんでけわからへん忘れちゃった。
日本語で言ったの。
I said it in Japanese, and they started laughing at me, and people understood that I wasn't speaking gibberish, and so I thought, oh, this is really good, because Romeo is a playboy. So, I'm talking to Juliet, but there's this Japanese girl, and so I'm talking to her. So it worked. And afterwards, the director was really mad at me, but he said, whenever possible, do that again. So you just use what you have.
チャラいロミオを思いっきり生かすことができたんですね。
今ね、アラムさん言ってたように失敗を失敗のまま残さない、失敗を使って成功よりもっとベターにすることができる。あ、失敗しちゃったって、Oh, I made a mistake でポシャるんじゃなくて、じゃあこれで笑いを取っちゃおう、right? You made that scene a lot more interesting
because it's from
right?
your mistakes.
Yeah,
used it. When you're watching a show, it's the same thing every night. The only time it's interesting is when something different happens because there was a mistake. And that's when you see the actor really act because they have to fix the mistake. And it's the same in life. We put so much pressure on ourselves. Just do it and use everything that you have, and the areas where you're weak, use those to your advantage as well.
自分がやっぱりちょっと弱いところ、弱いと思ったところ、それをもう思いっきり生かしてそれで何か得ようっていうその努力、その力をやっぱりこう引き出す。
努力っていうか瞬間的なキャッチ、起点、ここで失敗しちゃった、Sorry, I made a mistake って言ったらみんなかわいそうってなっちゃうじゃなくて、瞬間的な起点を聞かせて、これをマイナスをプラスに転じる、それがアダムさんできると思うのね。それはトレーニングで、training, right? So many times you failed, you made a mistakes. That's why you trained yourself, right?
じゃあこの中で今までこっちに来て、日本でもいいよ、こっちでも何か頑張ってたのにちょっとしまっちゃった、間違えちゃったとかって思った瞬間ある人、手挙げて。いっぱいある。嘘、絶対ある。失敗した人、失敗した人、はい、正直に手挙げてあげましょう。はい、あげた。じゃあ何に失敗した？なんで覚えてないの？忘れやすいね、失敗したことは。It's easy to forget.
Very good character.
Very positive.
Positive.
Very good. Who else made a mistake? You raise your hand, right? What did you make a mistake on? 何に失敗しました？日本語でもいいですよ。英語でもいいですよ。いいですよ。発音ね。The pronunciation. 卑猥な言葉。卑猥が私が多分日本語がちょっとわからないので誰か通訳してもらいましょうか。エッチな感じ。いいこと言うね。いやでもそれはよくあると思います。She was saying because she was saying that with her pronunciation issue, she accidentally said something that was a little bit perverse. And I hear that he's had that experience as well. Let's hear about it.
Yeah.
when I was first working as an English teacher in Japan, sometimes I'd get very frustrated. And I was so arrogant that I said, you know what? I'm going to tell the Kocho sensei that I'm really stressed out. I'm pissed off. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind.
なんか機嫌悪かったんですね。疲れ仕事でストレスが溜まって。
Yeah, I was, just irritated and frustrated. So I asked one of the teachers, how do I say this in Japanese so that when I speak to the Kocho sensei, I can tell him that I'm really frustrated.
先生に聞いたんですね。尋ねた。怒っているときは何て言えばいいのかって。
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he told me, and all day I'm practicing, and everybody's looking at me funny, and so I know that I'm not saying it right. When someone, when someone asks you, how are you? They don't really want to know. You just say, I'm fine, how are you? But all day I was practicing this word. And then when I get to the Kocho sensei's office, and he says, so, Adam, what's the problem? And I said, to be honest, I am really horny. And he said, what? And I said, I'm horny. And he was just looking at me. And I said, you know what? This is making me horny right now. You are making me so horny. And so
その言葉は何でしたっけ
？Yoki Human. So that was embarrassing.
今すごく So you were trying to say that you were really frustrated.
Yeah, I wanted to say ira shitemasu. I learned every way to say I'm frustrated on that day.
じゃあイライラが欲求不満となって出てきちゃった。
そしてホーニーになってしまった。
So and then I also learned how to apologize.
どうやって？
No, I had to say, excuse me for my rudeness. I had to beg his forgiveness.
それは全然ホーニーな感じじゃなく。
No, and then I had to tell everybody, all my students, I'm really not horny. Don't worry about it. Honestly.
生徒も怖いよね。先生がホーニーだったらどうしよう。
Yeah. So we all do that.
What is horny? What is horny? Okay.
Sexually frustrated, which I'm not.
Okay. A little off topic here again.
Yeah, please.
But it's okay. Yeah, so we all have our mistakes, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Speak it freely. 恥ずかしがることはない。もうそういうのをどんどん間違えたらそれを繰り返しやっていくことによって何かいいものを得られることができる。ゆきさん？
そうですね。もう King of Mistakes、Queen of Mistakes もうそれを踏んづけていきます。だからミステイクをしない人はお金で買った方がいいです。お金を払って。You should buy mistakes and experience, and then you get bigger or more blunt. It's okay, just a mistake. Keep on going, no matter what, right? It's not like 間違っちゃったでポッシャルんじゃなくて、OK, mistake of 当たり前でしょ。最初だからうまくできなくて当たり前。で、ちょっとうまくできたら自分に拍手してあげる。Give yourself applause. Okay?
それいいね。みんなも今日は You're all here gathered today, here from Japan. You might be shy because you're very quiet, but you're still keen. So this is a round of applause to yourselves, first of all, that you're here. So round of applause to yourselves right now.
To bring yourself here in this cold weather. And Mark, I really want everybody to speak up. Like a question, anything, like raise your hand, and every single person.
Yes, because
don't play it
people
safe.
In the back. Oh, there we go. Let's bring up the lights. Exactly. There we go. Good morning, everybody. In the back there. Are you awake? Yes. Are you having a good time? Yes, that's right.
Sometimes you got to make a mistake that you got to wipe off the wall.
Yeah.
It's just go big or go home. Take a risk, be bold, don't play it safe. And just by being here, you've come all the way from Japan. That's pretty bold. Yeah. So go all the way and don't be afraid to speak.
Right now, some of you are probably wondering, what else are they going to be talking about? What else can I learn? Don't be shy if you have any questions right now at this moment right now.
I really love the first person.
Yes.
I mean, very brave.
Very brave.
And you broke the ice. ね。氷の亀裂が入りました。これ使いますか？はい。
Oh, hi. I just want to add something about speaking in English because a lot of people here, especially if you're a native speaker, and there's a lot of things on your mind, like you're worried that probably Canadians won't understand you. But when I was when I first time came here in Canada, my English is not that good either. I was originally from Singapore, and when I came here, my English is so bad. But you know, I have this confidence, and I always tell myself that if other people can do it, I can always do it. And in communication, what I've learned is there are verbal and non-verbal communication. Sometimes if you cannot express it by saying it, you can act it. And there's always a saying that action speaks louder than words. So that's only my tip.
ありがとうございます。皆さん分かりましたか？ Did everybody understand? Yes? Okay. Actions speak louder than words. 皆さん恥ずかしがって言葉では言えなくても動作で表して伝えることができる。We can express with our actions, right? If I'm always like this, I'm just gonna be shy, but I can't explain myself. But you know, if I want to say I love you, you know, expression is very good. Acting, right?
あとは人ができることは自分もできる。この人ができるから、なんでこの人だけしかできないの？この人ができるんだから私もできる。それは基本的にずっと持ってていいことだと思います。自分を落とす必要ない。
Because
Did you
others can
understand?
do it, you
I
think
said
to
something very
yourself,
good.
you can do it. Okay, so why don't we ask a little bit more? I have here an interesting topic that we like to ask about Adam-san and your cooking experience in Peru. I know it might be a little bit off topic, but I think there is something that kind of gave you motivation somewhere in this cooking portion of your experience.
When oh yeah, okay. So I went to Peru, and I went there to write about brandy. The Peruvian brandy is called pisco. So I went there to write about it. And every day we were having pisco. And I felt a lot of pisco could be summed up by its first syllable, piss. You want to?
What is pisco?
It's a brandy.
Brandy. Pisco っていうブランデーわかります？
So,
Okay.
and some of it is really elegant and refined, but I was having so much and it was making me sick. So I said, I don't want to do this every day. I want to learn about Peruvian cuisine. So I found a restaurant that would teach me some cooking. And I said, if you teach me how to cook something, I'll take a video and I'll put it on YouTube and I'll write about your restaurant. So I got that.
皆さん分かりましたか？自分ペルーでこれを食べたかったんだけど食べるのには、これもお金が必要だ。でもお金払えないからだったら自分は何ができるんだろうって考えて、その時にだったらその、料理に対して書いてあげます、記事を書いてあげますから、記事を書いてあげたらタダで食べれるかもしれない。だから自分が何ができるかをまず考えた上でそれを行動に今度持っていったってことですね。
And also, it's a great way to learn language. For me, I don't have the attention span to sit in class and learn. I'm kind of like a chihuahua. You know, I'm always so.
落ち着きがない。
Yes.
授業中は。
Yeah. So, but if you're doing something else, you know, like cooking, or you know anything, maybe you're taking karate. I don't know. But if you're doing it in another language, then you learn it through your body. And for me, it was easier.
Yeah.
So I learned a bit of Spanish.
Really agree with you. Going to the class is one way, but at the same time, participate, go out, and then socialize with your friends, and do activities. I went winter camp, or parties, or all kinds of cultural events, and I was all over. I didn't miss things. So through communication, you learn so much.
When I went to university and studied Japanese, and it was the biggest waste of money because we're sitting in class. There are 12 of us sitting around a table, like jury duty. And after a year of studying Japanese every day, I was so shy, I was afraid to speak to anyone because I had no practice in real life, only in the classroom.
授業の中でしか喋ることができなかったから、外では全然練習する機会がなかった。
Slightly different, right?
Yes.
The text, the sentences in the textbook and the oral, I mean, the speaking language, right? You don't get that in the classroom too much.
Yuki-san, what about you? Like, when it came to language, how did you?
Yeah, I was married and came with my husband, but I didn't speak Japanese. Not a single Japanese in the house. All English. And yes, I tried. I dreamed about Japanese, but I just say, okay, yugen jikko. 日本語喋りません、家で。I won't speak a word of Japanese in a house for first year. And I did it.
Wow. That's a lot of courage as well. Yes. Who here is doing the exact same? While you're in Canada, here, not speaking a word of Japanese.
All of you.
Oh, yes? But thank you for raising your hand, though.
I say the same thing. I didn't go to Japan, but I went to Taiwan. 还有现在我会讲国语都没问题，真的。我好厉害，对不对？我知道。
That is so cool.
But I did the same thing. I did the 1 point kind of English. I learned maybe 1 or 2 sentences a day. That was it. Lots of repetition. Found something that I enjoyed. Kids, I taught kindergarten students, but I loved teaching tennis. You know, and so I actually went out on the tennis courts and I found native Taiwanese and I just spoke to them all the time. Like, how do you say serve? How do you say forehand? How do you say backhand? And just you find that one thing that you love to do and just get out and use, in my case, my Mandarin, but for you, just get out and use your English. And that's what you have to do. Which is why I started my own program where Toronto is our classroom and we just go outside and use English every day. So thank you for reinforcing that passion and that energy and just getting out and doing that.
And so afterwards, you should ask, what is your name?
Anish.
So
Anish.
afterwards, ask Anish about his program, because maybe it will help you.
It will, thank you.
ありがとうございます。
I'm getting so hard because great questions and great
We're getting good
samples and-
energy here.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
energy.
Yes, we have a question in the back. Sorry, my mic wasn't
Take
going
it
to reach.
closer.
It's okay, I have a loud voice. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's more of a comment, but I'd like to ask a question afterwards. One of the things I would like to share as a Canadian person, born and bred for generations, don't speak a word of anything but English. There's something that you might not know about English Canadians, and that is when we don't understand you, we feel shy and we become reserved. You might not know that. You might be so worried about yourselves getting it wrong that you might forget that we are nervous, that we won't understand you.
I'm going to reply or explain that in Japanese. 恥ずかしいと喋るのが恥ずかしいと思うとやっぱりどうしてもこう縮まっちゃう、自信をなくしちゃって何もできなくなっちゃう。それがやっぱり自分の自信に自信をにキャップをつけちゃうこともある。喋れない自信が恥ずかしくなっちゃう。恥ずかしいイコール何もできなくなっちゃう。
だけども逆もある。彼女が言うのは英語で喋っていて分かってるかどうかそれを聞くのもためらってしまう。逆のケースもある。だからあなたたちだけじゃなくて私たちも本当にこの人分かってるかなって聞くのもすごく勇気のいることだって。
お互いシャイなんですよね。お互いシャイだからどっちかお互いしてシャイだとどこにも進まないからどっちかが Yes! 分かった I understand! なんとかでもいいから Right? We just have to open up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, because we're actually a little bit reserved when it comes to when we Well, think about it. When you don't understand somebody, you feel you don't know what to do, maybe?
わからなく理解できなかったら何にしようかどういうふうに答えようかっていうのがわからなくなっちゃう。
So I just have two more things to say about Canadians, okay? That may
カナ
be
ダに
helpful.
カナディアンについてもう2つ。
So when anybody feels uncertain about what to do, we may get angry, or we may look cold, or we may not seem friendly. It's a cover-up that underneath we don't know what else to do. Do you understand?
最初1つ目はわからないと相手が何伝えようとしているのかわからないこっちも何伝えようかわからないそういう時ってこう怒った顔をしちゃったりなんかこう何も興味なさそうなオーラを出している可能性はある。だけど実際は中では何か本当は伝えたいだけど伝えられないからこういう表情が出ちゃうっていうケースがまず一つ。
So last point is it takes a lot of courage to come to a country and not know the language. You should feel very, very good about yourselves and don't worry about yourselves. Maybe think how can I help the Canadians to understand me? And then you open up more to us. And we open up more to you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. 今の最後のポイントも恥ずかしいとかじゃなくてもここまで日本を出て海外に来ることができたそのステップっていうのはすごい大きなステップだからその恥ずかしいんじゃなくて何か理解してみよう理解させてあげようっていう気持ちを少しだけでもこう出せるようになればそしたらもう怖いもん知らずもうそしたらそこからどんどん前向きに相手にこう何を自分が伝えたいのかっていうのを話すことができる伝えることができるようになるということです。はい。はい。後ろの方に。
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, in the back.
I don't. I just wanted to expand on what has been said here because I think it's totally true. And I should know because I'm French and here Canadians, when you're speaking French, they feel even more fearful. Yeah. So, yeah, no, oh, it's true. And what I found, the way I dealt with it, I think it's not being too eager, because if you're too eager, it might scare people even more. It's more being reassuring. So it's more working on so that you're not afraid. Like it's basically, if you remove fear, you remove everything, because then the body language comes, then you're also like, smiling and it's a way of just saying it's going to be okay. It's an attitude that when you try to speak with people who don't, there's a language barrier, you're just saying it's going to be okay. And then everyone's making an effort and the communication works all the time. But sometimes we're so afraid of not having the proper words or saying or being culturally inadequate. It's like saying things that, in this culture maybe I should not wave my arms. So we're cutting our communication channel, and therefore we are scaring the person we're talking to because we are so stressed ourselves.
お互いやっぱりこう緊張しちゃって伝え方がわからない。普段だったらもう手いっぱい使って説明するところをもしかしたら怖がらしちゃうかもしれない。脅かしちゃうかもしれないからだからちょっと抑え気味で喋る、接する。でもそれが逆効果でもしかしたら相手にすごい逆に嫌な思いをさせてるかもしれない。そうじゃなくてできるだけお互いこう自分が相手に話そうとするときにはどういうふうにすれば相手に理解してもらえるだろう、こう私に開いてくれるだろうっていう考えを持って話をしていくとまただいぶ違う答えがフィーリングが出てくるんじゃないのかということで、はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Another thing is that
Oh, yeah.
I just want to add to that the good thing about learning English is that everybody has a different accent. You know, there's many different accents in this room. Nobody owns English. You know, when you're in Japan, there's different dialects, but there's one way to say something. And if you speak with an accent, that's the difference between saying to someone kawaii or kowai. You know, but in English, everyone has a different accent, and you can get away with making mistakes It's not bad. Sometimes it's funny, and you can make something really good out of that. So, yeah.
発音のことでしたね。
I have a question, but it's question's a little bit different from the language, actually.
No problem.
The question for Adam-san and Yuki-san, both of you, actually, when it comes to the jobs, actually. So for Adam-san, you were teaching English and then became the actor later on. And then for Yuki-san, you were working at the daycare, and then you became the host on TV show. And you're involved in the media right now. So my question is, what was your opportunity for both of you to realize, okay, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be the host of TV show, and what's the process from teaching English to the actor and then working for daycare to in the media?
Great question. Do you want to answer?
俳優になるきっかけ、プロデューサーになるきっかけ、それを教えてくださいということです。
Great question, actually. Wonderful.
You want to go first?
Go.
Okay. So I always wanted to act. My dad was an actor, but I felt very shy.
Waxman.
Yeah. I felt really shy. I was painfully shy. So I did anything but acting. I went into consulting. I went to Japan. You know, that's the furthest place away. And I was teaching English. But then when I came, you know, then my dad passed, and I thought to myself, I don't want to live anymore saying what if, because I just lost the most important part of my life. I thought I couldn't care less what anyone thinks of me anymore. So I went to New York, and I didn't even tell anyone, just my mother. So I said, Mom, what's that?
お母さんにしか言わない。
Yes, on Mother's Day. I said, I'm going to New York, and I'm going to acting school. I'm going to get in. I didn't have any money, but somehow I was going to make it work. And they
なんとかできると思った。
Yeah. So they gave me a scholarship, and I stayed there for 2 years, and it just went from there. You know, I honestly, I just said, I don't care what anyone thinks. I really have to live for myself now, because there's no time to waste. You know, and I was so sick and tired of being shy, and then looking at myself in the mirror at the end of the night, saying, "You idiot! You know, why didn't you kiss that girl?" You know, there's so many times that we pass up for stupid reasons. So that was a big turning point for me.
ありがとうございます。はい。
For me, it happened. I came here. I really wanted to work for assistant teacher at daycare center. That's what I wanted. But other things just happened one after another. I wasn't teaching. I wasn't a teacher, but I went to teacher seminar. And somebody found me. And then, do you want to teach? And I started teaching at Kokugo Kyoshitsu, Heritage School, Japanese. And I was doing
she was my teacher.
Yeah. He was my student in my class.
So you can see what a good teacher she is.
And then I was doing the MCs with the students, and somebody found me. And then I was interviewed by TV personality. And I was in studio, got interviewed, and next day I was asked to be on TV, like a news host, caster. Why me? Because I always do my best, right? To talk to them. That time I did puppet. I made a puppet and then did storytelling, right, on TV. And she really liked it, and she wanted to retire. So she asked me to take over her position. So something like one after another. I never said no. This is the point. Never say no. I wasn't ready, right? I had no training in TV. I was terrified. I was sweating and crying and everything on TV, and oh, I'm not going to do it again, right? I was really bad, really bad. I got really bad comments from a couple people. My close friends teased me, right?
結構じゃ厳しかったんですね。
厳しかった。And I was almost like crying, right? But I didn't give up. I didn't say no. So I got paid a little bit, and I trained myself. So you don't have to be ready when you get on the new thing. You don't have to. If you got ready, you're done. Okay? So don't wait until you get ready. Right, Adam?
Right.
Yeah. When you're not ready, that's the timing you go.
準備万端と思ったときは前へ進めない。自分が頑張って諦めずになんとか 次のゴールこれをクリアしたいと思った時にできたことですもんね。
準備が万端だったらもうやらない。ね、OK。
毎日辛いとやめたいなっていう方が先に来ちゃうんじゃないかなと思うんですけど。
Yeah. What, you know, it's a struggle, right? Every day tough. It's difficult. Then I always think about somebody who are having a lot harder time. I'm not the victim. I'm not the only one person who suffers. And then there are a bunch of people who suffer a lot more than I do.
You're asking,
Yeah?
am I suffering more than you? What are you asking?
No, the question was, you know, there's many times, you know, we come across something and we want to give up. But what made you strive to be able to continue with what you felt as a struggle?
My acting teacher once said, if you're not feeling motivated, then think about someone you love and dedicate it to them because you're not going to let them down. So,
acting の時には Is this acting?
My teacher, yeah.
もう、何か伝えた時にはもう自分の一番愛してる人にそれを気持ちを伝えようと思って伝えることをすることによってまた感情伝え方が変わるんじゃないのか。
It didn't work. So,
それは通用しなかったって。
For me, the opposite worked. I dedicated it to someone that I hated. You know?
逆に嫌いな人と思って接した。
I had to do a show and I thought, all these people, they don't think I can do it. So I'm going to dedicate this to them and I'm going to show them what I can do. And it worked, you know, whether you're in the gym and you've got 2 more reps to bench press and you say, oh, I can't do it. Think about someone else saying, you can't do it. And then you're like, oh, it's on.
嫌いな人にお前はできないだろうって思ったら、畜生この野郎とかって思ってガーってやるじゃん。それ。
Yes, that worked for me.
Yes, we all have our different ways, but it's always important never to give up, right?
Absolutely.
At a certain point, right? You cannot fly in the air, so you have to give up some point, right? So there's a certain degree, but there's nothing you cannot do if you have a will. ね、意志があれば絶対に岩をも通すと思います。
Is there anybody here who would like to maybe share an experience that they're encountering right now that you know you're struggling with something? I need some kind of motivation. What do I need? You know, is there anybody who's struggling right now? 誰か今つまずいてなかなか前に進めない。それをちょっと話を皆さんに一緒にシェアしたい人いますか？あれ？手が重い。みんな本当はこんな恥ずかしくないでしょ？友達とはいまた。Yes.
You need to do some modifications with your plans. And, you know, that works for me. And when I was new here in Toronto from Singapore, you know, my plan was just to work right away. But it didn't happen. I have to go back to school. Although I finished university back in Singapore, I have to go back for a few years here in university before I got my degree here. So, you know, sometimes you know, when you make plans, it's not a straightforward thing. Like, you need to modify sometimes.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, you know, when you look at someone's path to where they are, maybe they didn't start thinking they were going to get here, but it just happened that way. I never thought that I would be publishing a magazine about food. But that's what happens when you're an unemployed actor. You know, you have to modify your plan.
みんなそれぞれね、自分の道っていうのは分からない。こう進んでいくうちにいろいろとこう変化をしていかない、変更とか変化がやっぱり訪れるわけであって、それをやっていくことによって自分のようやくやりたいことにたどり着く。だからもう最初から道っていうのはできてない。それは作るのは自分自身。
寄り道 OK。
Yes.
ちょっと英語で頑張って喋る。So I'd like to ask a question, both of you. So when you stay in Japan, what do you think about your country? So in my case, so I wasn't interested in Japan. I thought it was boring, but now I'm realized because I met people who runs Japanese restaurant. So his family, so they gave me a good opportunity to know about Japan and good experience. So I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
Well, so you're asking what we think of Japan when we're living there?
Yes.
I found yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah. Well, I got bored. I didn't find Japan so interesting, as you said, right? That's why I just wanted to have a new opening for me, new opportunity for me. So I got out. But when I came here, I look back and then I found a lot more charms about Japan. もっともっとチャームを見つけました。魅力をここに来て初めてカリグラフィー、書道だったり、墨絵、カリグラフィーペインティングとかそういう。I never thought about doing it in Japan, but I'm doing it now here. So I found more the value of Japan here. So it's good for you to get out of the country.
I feel like maybe a lot of Westerners feel this way. I felt a love-hate relationship with Japan. There were some times when I was so happy, I love this place. And there are other days when I was miserable and lonely and I hated it. So, but then I'd remind myself, I felt that way here, you know? And sometimes I was really bored of living here, and that's why I travel so much. But one thing I loved about Japan was that there was a sincerity and enthusiasm in people. Maybe because Japan is an island culture, but people were really interested in me. Whereas here, nobody's interested in me. So I really liked that. You know, people wanted to know things. They'd ask, what is Canadian food? And I'd say, I don't know. And here in Canada, if you ask people what's Canadian food, they say, donuts, I don't know. So, but in Japan, I lived in Kyoto, and if I told my friends, I'm going to Kagoshima, they would say, you have to try the black pork. Or if I was going to Totori, they'd say, you have to have the nashi. You know, everybody seems to know the regional differences and the seasonal differences. Here, nobody knows anything. So, you know, we complain that Americans don't know about Canada. Canadians don't know about Canada. But one thing I loved was you know, traveling around Japan and tasting the differences. So now, in my magazine, I do the same thing here. You know, I went to Newfoundland because I wanted to learn what do they eat in Newfoundland? What's the specialty? What's the word? Meibutsu?
Meibutsu.
Yeah. In Japan, everybody knows the meibutsu, and here nobody does. So in my magazine, I write about that. What's the meibutsu in Alberta or in Newfoundland? And that's the thing. You can think your home country is boring, but then take what you've learned here and bring it home with you.
More appreciation. Yeah.
まあね、日本は名物って本当だってね、各州に行けばいろいろと変わりますからね。こっち行って名物ってなかなかトロントの名物って何？ストリートホットドッグ？わからないでしょ。でも今こうやってこれがアダムさん。This is the DINE magazine. This is the magazine that you're releasing right now. That is your wife?
No. No, my wife's better looking.
妻をもっと綺麗だと。
So I went to Mie Prefecture, and I was really interested because there you have the Mikimoto pearls, Matsuzaka beef, Ama divers, the ninja. There's so much in Mie. I don't know if I could live there, but it was really interesting to visit, and I wanted to explore everything. And I think for you, while you're here, maybe you don't know what Toronto has to offer, but you're here. So find it, explore. You know, we've got there's a lot of specialties here, and there's nothing stopping you from traveling, especially if you don't have any work, then you've got time. And there's ways to do it.
時間があるからね、自分の好きなものを何か探してそれを生かそうと。We were talking before, you know, how do we find our way? You know, how do we get to the point where we know what we want to do? And I don't know if you remember what you know we were talking about that time. You know, you do? Do you want to share that with
Sure. You know,
自分の道がこう分からないときにどうすれば自分のこうたどり着最終的にやりたい仕事は何かってみんな聞くんですけど、それなかなか難しいから、でもすごいいい案があったんですよ。だからそれをちょっと聞きたい。
When I was a kid, people would ask, "What do you want to be? Or what do you want to do?"
何になりたい、何をしたい。
And I hate those questions.
嫌いだと。そういう
You
質
know,
問。
I want to be me, and you know, they ask, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" Well, maybe I don't want to grow up. I don't know.
大人になりたくないかも。
But that's such a big question, and I think it puts a lot of pressure where there doesn't need to be. So, can you say?
Yes. 余計なその質問されると余計なプレッシャーで分からなくなっちゃうこともたくさんあると。
So rather than think about what you want to do as a job, think about what interests you. What do you like doing right now? And find a way to make a career out of that. You know, in Japan, a lot of people ask, you know, what is your hobby? Here, it sounds very strange if I go up to a woman and say, hey, what's your hobby? It just sounds perverted. But, you know, just think of it. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? For me, I like food. I like wine. I like to act. These are the things I like to do. No different than when I was a kid. I didn't think I would like to be a publisher of a magazine. That's too specific. Just think about the things that you like to do right now. I like to go out to restaurants and eat. So how am I going to make a career out of doing that? Well, I'm going to write restaurant reviews. And it went from there.
みんなね、それぞれやっぱりその仕事はどの仕事に就こうっていうのはやっぱりすぐ分からない。自分でも分からないし、でも自分は何をするのが好き、絵描くのが好き、歌うのが好き、料理するのが好きだったらそれを活かせて、それを自分の仕事、そこから収入を得られるような方向に持っていけば、それを磨いていくことによって最終的に自分の好きなこれがやりたかったっていう仕事に就くんじゃないのかっていうので。
Or I suggestion you have to keep your back open all the time so that some people can push you.
Can I open your back?
Yeah. My back is really big, right? So somebody can push me, do it, right? Then I do this, but I get up and then do it. I'm not ready. But if your friend say you should do it, then you take it. Appreciate that for that offer, right? So チャンスはいっぱいある。あっちこっちにいっぱいある。それを見てないだけです、みんな。Sometimes can see, sometimes can hear, right? So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and if somebody suggests, hey, do you want to do this? Sure. I don't know if I can do it, but I just try.
And one thing that I think is a good trick, if you could have someone to represent you, like a publicist, what would you want them to say? So, for example, when I was acting in Romeo and Juliet, I really wanted to get a lot of attention and publicity so that I could get another acting job. So I wrote my own press release. You know?
自分が何を自分は強調するか、自分が自分のその要はプロデューサーとかと考えて、自分を売るためにはどう伝える自分をっていうのを考えることによってまた次のステップにたどり着くことが。
And so I emailed that press release to a publicist, and I said, I'm not asking you to send this out, but could you just look at it and tell me if it's good? So he emailed it back to me, and now I have a press release on his stationery. So
わかりますか？自分が自分で評価を書いて、それをなんていうの、評論家でいいんですかね。誰か上の人に見てもらうことによってそれを直してもらって、その人がこう読んだ時に、これはなかなかいいんじゃないの、こういうところを直してみればいいんじゃないのっていうところは自分にとって自分のことだから、それを磨くことによって、それで自分を常にアップデートしていって、いいもの、結果自分がどういう人なのかっていうのも分かっていく。
So, I wrote that myself. Adam's a great actor, and he plays Romeo so well, but it was on his stationery. So then I could show that to people. Look what this publicist said about me, and that
それを利用して、出版社の人に見てもらって、それを編集してもらって、そしたらその人の名前がついたわけだから、そしたら自分で書いたものじゃなくて、出版社がその人が自分を宣伝してくれてるような、逆にね、それを持っていったっていうことで。
You have to be your own. You have to be industrious.
Industrious.
Just a creative.
Creative, right.
And I live in Stratford. I was acting at the Stratford Theatre Festival. There are a lot of good restaurants there.
ストラットフォードってわかりますか、皆さん？ Yes, you've been to Stratford? No, it's a little bit south from here. How many hours from here?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half down south. A little bit past Niagara Falls.
No, other way, southwest, like around Kitchener.
Yeah, around Kitchener.
So there's a website in Toronto that has a lot of restaurant reviews. So I phoned them and I said, "You don't have any restaurant reviews for Stratford?" And they, so they said, "Well, are there restaurants there?" And I said, "Of course." So I wrote just a paragraph about each restaurant that I liked, and I sent it to this website. And they said, "We can't pay you for this." And I said, "That's fine, but you should have this as a Stratford section. And if there's anything else that I can write for you, just let me know." They didn't pay me anything, but from that, I got a job writing about chefs in Toronto. Because he said, "Yeah, I like your writing. So are you free on this night to go to this restaurant?" Think outside the box.
自分ができること、それをやっぱり活かせる方法ってたくさんあるわけであって。
Very important when you do volunteer, right? Volunteer. Don't take it so easy. I mean, volunteer is very important. When you don't get paid, you fully participate. もう全力尽くしてボランティアワークをやる。You don't know who is watching you, right? I was painting on the floor, volunteer as a student, a theater student. I went to York University Theater, painting. And then costume and set designer passed by. I was painting the floor. And then she asked me if I want to assist her. So nobody knows who is watching you. So volunteer work, 100%, 150%, you put your passion in, energy.
It's just like if you're watching TV and you put the TV on mute, you'll see who's a good actor and who's not. The actors who are not interesting, you're not going to watch them. But the ones who are passionate and they're honest and they really genuinely care about what they're doing, you're going to watch them because they're interesting. It's the same as in life. That's why I can't stop watching you.
それも行動ですね。今言ったのもテレビ見ててもね、だって音消せばその出てる本人が魅力的か魅力的じゃないかっていうのも動作だけで分かる。言葉聞いてなくても心から伝わる。見ててそれを僕たちにも自分たちで言葉だけじゃやっぱり物は通じないと。やっぱり動作行動で物事もやっぱり変わっていく。いろんな道が開いてくる。だから恥ずかしがってたらダメ。
Yes. And, do you want to ask?
Yes.
People? I want them to talk. Oh, good.
Good question.
Thanks, Mark. When you were talking about how you wrote about yourself and had other people to evaluate you, I have a similar experience where I myself went on a journey, and I had the opportunity to write a will. A will for myself. So it was like a self-evaluation process to see what's important for myself, what I want to do for the future, what I want to pass like my thoughts and ideas to other people. And because this event is called GENTEN, I have this two-part question for both of you. It might be a little bit weird, but if you could actually go back in time and talk to yourself in the past, when would that be? What would you tell them? And also, if you could go to the future and talk to yourself, what would you say to yourself?
One moment.
Good question.
Yeah.
How many years back? My choice?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I cannot believe I'm here talking to you like this, not shaking. Up to maybe high school, if I go in front of people, I get so red and shaky. So I was completely different person, right? So I didn't have a courage, nerve to get on the stage and speak, to talk to the public, no. So totally different person, right? But I had a passion that I want to do that someday. But you go on the stage, sweat a lot. I did. I sweat a lot. And I said, I'm not going to do it again. No, more, yaranai, yaranai. So many times I said that. So many years, right? If I think about as a kid, yes, I was very nervous. I was very quiet. I mean, yeah, so GENTEN.
Yes.
GENTEN, can you add anything?
Yeah.
Well, I can go back and then probably add something.
I would go back to when I was 19, and I had just moved out of my house. I was gone to university, and I thought, now I've got the chance to be on my own. But I didn't really do anything with that because I was shy and I was lazy. I wish I could go back to that time and say to myself, schmuck, get off your ass and stop living for someone else or living in fear of someone else, because the 90s were a really good time in Toronto for actors. There was a lot of industry happening in Toronto. I got into it 10 years later when the bubble burst because I just couldn't get myself going. I was just too shy. So I would have said to myself then, just do it. And all the times that my dad said, you want to go to the baseball game with me? And I'd say, no, I just want to stay home. I can't get that time back. And I would take 1,000 lashings to spend 1 second of a baseball game with my dad now. So I would go back and just say, get up and do what you want to do, because there's no time to waste.
Thank you. That was a great question.
But by the way, you're very fluent in English.
Yeah, I lived in Saskatchewan for
wow. 7 years? 7 years in Saskatchewan. Were you able to speak?
Saskatchewan.
Were you able to speak this well before coming?
I thought I knew the basics when I was in Saskatchewan, but I went through all the things that everyone else experienced.
Oh, you did great. You did it. You did great.
Mm-hmm.
Very fluent.
Well, you know what? An hour and a half is very short. I know, we have so much more questions and so much more things that we want to talk about. But the important thing here is that 皆さんも海外に来た. You came all the way across from Japan. Though you're very quiet today, I know you're not that quiet, but you had that courage, その努力、勇気があって海外に来ることができました. You came this far by yourself. So, add that, take that as use that as your kind of strength. それをモチベーションとして次のステップ. Use that as a motivation for your next goal. So that what you can do. You only have 1 year for some of you, right? The working holiday. You try to use that 1 year to the fullest. Make sure that you find something, a passion, a goal, and then work towards that. And as they were mentioning, don't be shy. Try to open up. Try to understand if you don't understand what we're speaking in English. 英語で何言ってるのかわからなかったら、そしたらできるだけ聞いてみよう。何を伝えようとしているのか理解してみよう。して自分も何を伝えたいのかをその言葉で言えなかったら動作とかでも伝えることがたくさんいろいろとすることができる。 So let's work on that together. That's why we're all here together. If you have any problems, that you come across any issues as well, turn to your left or right. There's so many people that are here to support you and help
Mark,
you out.
I just wanted to share my experience. So I got only 1 year working holiday visa. Do you have any idea how I got the chance to stay 24 years and a half?
Oh.
How? I really loved Canada. So I have to come up with the idea to stay here longer. What I did was I applied. The working holiday visa can't extend more than 1 year, but I tried. I went to embassy or somewhere, and then can I extend this visa? No, right? I knew what I tried. And the next thing I thought, okay, university. I had only 1 month, so I practiced TOEFL test. I went to library, and I did all the textbook, and then I studied all the hearing things, right? So I just covered everything. And one test, I took the test, and I took York University audition, and I got in. So I extended for 4 years. I spent so much time, so much money. So I tried to land. I applied for landed immigrant visa. And then since I graduated from York University, that's a proof of money and English. So I got the visa in 3 weeks. Got stamp 3 weeks. And then soon I got landed immigrant status. So just one test. So I studied. How hard I studied? Crazy. Very. I went to the library every single day, and a librarian said, there is no other textbook for you. You covered everything. That's how I got it. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes. Okay.
I just want to say, you were talking about courage. It's very easy to be discouraged. And so in those times, you have to remind yourself why you are here.
GENTEN.
Yes. The first time I went away, I went to Los Angeles, and I had an unrealistic dream that I would be discovered in Hollywood. But I didn't go out. I didn't make friends. I didn't go to any tourist sites. I didn't socialize, or there's incredible scenery. I didn't do anything because I thought, I don't know how, which is the stupidest thing, because all you have to do is, you're there. And you're all here. I really wasted that opportunity. And so when I went to Japan afterwards, I said, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do everything. And you can make the most of your time here. Remind yourself why you're here and what your interests are. Maybe your interests are different than your interests. So what are you interested in? If you're interested in traveling, or if you're interested in food, or whatever it is, explore it. It's all up to you. This is your journey. You're the captain of your ship, and you can do it because you're already here. And then at the end of this journey, you can look back and say, I did that. So, and look how much you accomplished, which is incredible. Everyone can do that. So,
有言実行。ユニバーシティに入ります。I said that. I tried George Brown College first, and then George Brown College took me, and then I got in York University after. But I said I'm gonna stay here because I love Canada. That's how much I love Canada, and I still love Canada. So if you love it, you find a way.
Find your passion.
Yeah.
はい。ありがとうございます。All of you, you've made the effort to come here as well. At the same time, I want everybody to also congratulate. I want to, call upon all the staff here, because all the staff that volunteers here that organize this event, 皆さん全員スタッフです。ボランティアスタッフです。この原点を企画していただいた方々も。なので、皆さんもいろいろといろんなものに携わって、こういう大きな企画があって、皆さんの力で一つになったらできることができる。それで感謝の気持ちとして、ゆきさんから
Yeah, I wrote this, but I didn't like it. So what I did was talk to my calligraphy teacher, and then she made sample for me. So I practiced. I came up with the Yugenjiko in calligraphy way. So those people who wants to do Yugenjiko, okay.
So make sure you keep that in mind. Yugenjiko, just do it. Yes, just do it. Yes. はい、ありがとうございます。ではちょっと時間も押してしまいましたけど。
マリナさん、羽賀マリナさんは実はハーフマラソンの選手です。日本で、一番いい記録です。第2位全国、それでヤマダ電機とかみずほバンクとかで走ってたんですけれども、デスクワークとかやってなくて、私にメールを書く時も非常に緊張したと。でリサーチして書き方を学んで私にメールを送ってきてくれて、それをやり取りずっとやってたんですね。でここもう10何人いらっしゃるんですよ、この原点のスタッフ。皆さんに感謝してますけど、特にマリナさん、感謝。
感謝
Thank you
です。
very much。ありがとう。ありがとう。
じゃあエミさんありがとうございます。アダムさん、ユキさんありがとうございました。